thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, bringing some Major League Baseball grub home on a budget. If you're suffering from World Series whiplash just 1 week after Game 7 of the 2025 Fall Classic between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, you might be a Blue Jays fan, and I feel your pain. Your team brought the fight, bringing the Rogers Center to the stratosphere at times. But in the end, the victorious Los Angeles Dodgers brought them to their knees, winning back-to-back titles, and a comeback that will be remembered by baseball fans forever and will certainly haunt the Blue Jays for the long off-season ahead. So what can the Blue Jays do to keep up their peak performance and claim the storybook ending they so desperately needed? Well, I'm not really their manager, so I can't definitively tell you, but I do have a slight suggestion. By the way, the only incentive for me to root for the Los Angeles Dodgers is what I do here almost every day, bring Hollywood home on a budget. That's always the goal. Otherwise, I'm not a fan of either team, per se. But what can the Blue Jays do to come back next year and rewrite the game? Maybe a slight revamp in their nutritional routine is in order. And for that, we look back and forward to the game of eating smart. Over 80 novelty recipes for peak performance inspired by 21 MLB superstars. Interviewed by Julie Loria, the author of this book, who provides the recipe headings for each recipe, the captions that you see summarizing each recipe's taste and nutritional benefits. Chef Allen Campbell creating the recipes that tailor to the players' nutritional regimes. Chef Allen Campbell, by the way, being the personal chef for New England Patriots star quarterback Tom Brady and his then-wife Gisele Bündchen. This Rodale publication, made with the full cooperation and participation of MLB and its Players Association, was picked up from the Montclair Book Center for $12. And of the many times that I went to the Montclair Book Center, this cookbook was always sitting there, ready, ripe for the purchase. We don't do much in the way of sports, every so often, but since this thing was just sitting there, and I was bound to talk about the World Series at some point because the Los Angeles Dodgers were playing, it just had to be picked up. In any event, you're about to get an inside look at the food that fuels today's top Major League Baseball stars. And by today, I mean the MLB active roster of 2019. I should say up front that no Toronto Blue Jays players in the active roster at the time were interviewed for this cookbook. But one alumni was, and he's the alumni that kicks off this review. By the way, the chapters are 2, and we have here cooking tips and techniques for eating smart, stocking your kitchen with kitchen essentials for your pantry and fridge, beans and grains, a good cooking guide for those, and homemade nut milks. This cookbook is sans dairy, plus the lineup and game-changing recipes. 21 MLB players, over 80 recipes. First up, Jose Bautista, at the time, outfielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. But many Blue Jays fans will remember him spending 10 of his 15 seasons with Toronto. He and the other players in here talk about their nutritional regime, what foods and recipes fuel them up for a long day on the field, and how eating smart, eating right, helps maintain their mental state and their peak physical performance on and off the diamond field. From there, Chef Allen Campbell takes you over with recipes that tailor to each player's regime. In the case of Jose Bautista, we got warm lentil and mung bean salad, nutrient-dense, seared avocado with the lively flavors of chili powder, cayenne, and cumin, offsetting the sweet creaminess of the avocado, turmeric recovery tea, ginger mint chamomile tea, and tropical smoothies, inspired by Jose Bautista's Dominican roots. So you got some global influences in here. Now, we move on to Freddie Freeman. At the time, first baseman for the Atlanta Braves, but of course, World Series hero for back-to-back championships. this year and last year. I can remember Joe Davis's call, "Gibby, meet Freddie!" And of course, none of us will ever forget that 18-inning classic. Yep, Freddie Freeman, back-to-back hero before the clock struck midnight. Inspired by his nutritional routine, Allen Campbell creates this cheesy spinach and broccoli frittata. Every recipe, by the way, giving you the serving sizes and prep and cook times, as per the use with any other cookbook you find on the market. Turkey and zucchini enchiladas with a cheese sauce. I use that in quotes because the cheese factor comes by way of nutritional yeast. Once again, this is sans dairy. No dairy in here at all. A heavy reliance on veggies and fruits and lean proteins like bison. And of course, my favorite, chicken. We also have a strawberry lemon quinoa loaf and miso lemon shrimp with kale slaw. Next, moving on to Matt Kemp, at the time outfielder for the Dodgers. This is his nutritional regime, and following that, Allen Campbell creates these recipes: bison meatballs with cauliflower rice and spicy spinach, cashew-crusted salmon skewers. This photograph and all the others inside this cookbook taken by the hyper-talented Ben Fink and his crew. Spiced overnight oats and a warm sweet potato kale bowl. There is no photograph for every recipe in here, just the marquee key players in here, but what pictures there are do look delicious, so that's another plus going for this. And oh yes, Clayton Kershaw, who has since hung up his cap as an MLB player. At the time, he was the starting pitcher for the Dodgers. He has a blue cinnamon smoothie, all-star blueberry muffins, a roasted cinnamon apple breakfast bowl going for him, and finally, a salmon nori roll. So yes, you will get a fair amount of seafood in here. If you really want to eat smart, you're gonna have to look smart, shop smart, and that means branch out of your comfort zone and seek out a few specialty ingredients for a good chunk of these recipes at a health food store or online. If you do so, then you'll be eating like a champ, at least according to this cookbook. That really is the challenge of eating smart here, branching out of your comfort zone, going beyond the usual grocery store or mass supermarket. But if you're up for the challenge, batter up, because this really is a nice cookbook. 4.5 out of 5 claps. It will be a long off-season in Toronto, but I have it on good authority that a good meal can heal the mind, body, and soul, which makes the game of eating smart a diamond in the rough for the rough road ahead. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.